Welcome everybody to Simply Japanese Maples, our main greenhouse here, which is really feels more like a closet. It's so tight with all these awesome trees in here. It's like working in a closet in here for sure. So tons of trees in here. What we're going to talk about today are lace leaves. There's not just your green ones or your red ones. There are a ton of different lace leaves, and it's not all about the colors. There's all kinds of other factors we're going to get into today. If you don't know it already, Simply Japanese Maples, we are Canada's mail order nursery for Japanese maples. We do a few other things, some conifers, but mostly Japanese maples from our door to your door, coast to coast, and simplyjapanesemaples.ca. Anyways, let's have a look at these lace leaves and see what I'm talking about here. Okay, so behind me here on the table, I did not organize this. It's a bit of a mess. We've got a bunch of different lace leaves, and we're basically gonna look at a bunch of things. So, as I alluded to at the intro here, it's not all about you've got a red one, you've got a green one, they stay red all year, they turn yellow in the fall, whatever. There's a ton of different lace leaves. There's different easy for me to say. There's different leaf shapes. We've got different sizes. We've got the overall structure and shape of the trees themselves. So I think the first thing we'll talk about, we might as well hit color, okay, because that's what we already know. We're talking about red, greens, all these colors. Let's talk about the colors. I don't know exactly how many lace leaves are out there. There are dozens, but I'll tell you this much. In our greenhouse alone, we've got at least 10 or 12 different colored trees that some are variegated, some are a solid color, some are the same color all year long with varying shades of that. Some are different colors throughout the different growing seasons. So pretty awesome that way. One that I can think of here that's kind of a bit more simplistic is pink lace. So pink lace is this green one right here. It's going to be a yellow color in the fall. It's kind of like, looks a bit like your waterfall. If you know waterfall, a lot of you will know waterfall. And just kind of it's a nice one. So sometimes it has a bit of a pink tips to some of the leaf lobes. This one in particular right now, I'm not seeing a whole lot. There's a couple little new leaves on there that do. But, so that one's, fairly straightforward. Like I said, we're not going to talk about specifics of each tree, but we just want to kind of get into examples of some of the stuff I'm talking about. Irish lace is a great one. So Acer palmatum Irish lace. So here's one that's going to give you quite a few different sort of color changes throughout the season. It starts off, it's got some green color to it. Then you start getting into this like brick orange. And then you get these like light cherry new leaves that pop on top of that. So super cool. And then the leaves that get more sun are going to be more to that reddish orange, and things below it in shade are more of a green. So those color changes are going to constantly happen throughout the season. And then in the fall, you got a whole different thing going on. So that's kind of a little bit what I'm talking about there. There are some trees like red dragon, for example, that's going to be red throughout the entire year. It's going to have kind of a different tone of red from spring, summer to fall, but it's going to be the same kind of thing the entire time. Whereas, as I said earlier, you could have different color changes throughout the various growing seasons. So that's super cool. Let's talk about another thing, the overall shape, structure of a tree. Now, some weepers are going to cascade down heavily. Orangeola is one that might cascade down heavily, or like the palmate weepers like Golden Falls or Ryusin. Those are going to be heavy cascaders. So that's kind of their unique feature. Whereas something like Germain's gyration is going to be sort of out more and then kind of cascade down a little bit. And also it has undulating branches, which is really neat. But, and then the complete sort of end of the spectrum is Siriu, which is really one of the only upright dissectums. Most of our dissectums, as we know, all are weepers to some degree. But Siriu is like the king of the upright dissectums. So yeah, there's almost, English laces are red and Siriu is a green one. But Siriu truly grows up into an upright, and the branches arch way out into this beautiful upright specimen of a tree. A fabulous tree. So that's almost on its own little island, but that's a whole, we've done videos on that. So actually, and here's the English lace behind me. It's got a fairly upright habit, but then it still kind of arches out like a lot of your dissectums do. So we've talked heavy weepers. We've talked ones that kind of arch out and then weep down. There are some that sort of arch out and almost the tips just weep down. So there's a whole sort of gamut in terms of what the structure is going to do. Okay, let's talk about leaf shape. So leaf shape is very unique too as well. They all basically have the same kind of basic shape if you were to look at them side by side, but there are differences, of course. And what I would love is if I had a leaf of each one of these trees laid out in front of me, but I don't have that and I don't feel like ripping them off the trees. So we're going to do a quick little comparison here, and we'll look at a very, very finely delicate and dissected lace leaf called Beni Kumo no Su. And this one is just ridiculous, also known as red spiderweb. And the new leaves in particular are extremely fine. So I'll put my hand behind that so you can kind of see that. And they do thicken up a little bit as it's getting older here, but extremely, extremely fine. Now, if we put that in comparison, now it's going to be tough for me here to juggle both of these, but I'm going to throw these both up here. Here's pink lace, and here's Beni Kumo no Su. So, not sure how well we're going to be seeing that on the video here, but I'll do my best here with it. So quite a bit different. So when you look at them closely, they have the same basic shape for the most part. There are variations with the individual leaf lobes, of course, but very unique. Not only that, you've got the shape, you've got the size of the leaves on, say, red filigree lace. You know, the leaf might be only a fraction of the size of the palm of your hand, whereas, say, Germain's gyration or a waterfall or some of the other bigger ones, it might be the entire size of your hand. And if we're talking japonicums, the weepers like Green Cascade or Oregon Fern, where's my Oregon Fern? Here's an Oregon Fern, just a little gaffer. But they're almost in their own little category, really. They just, again, same kind of basic shape, but the growth, the structure of these trees is a little different, a lot more rigid. You know, the leaves themselves the leaf lobes kind of stand out very rigid versus, you know, a more delicate weeping. But fabulous plants, and again, almost their own little category, really, but they are similar, very similar. What else have we hit? So color, we talked about color. We've talked about the leaf shape. We've talked about the overall structure, the texture. So kind of in line with the leaf shape, the texture can be very different as well. You know, some of the trees, such as, again, Beni Kumo no Su, or like red filigree lace, or here we've got lemon lime lace. This isn't lemon lime lace, this is Chantilly lace, but that's perfect. Where's my lemon lime lace? It's not here. That's okay. These all have a lot more of, well, basically kind of a lacy appearance and less of a more solid, how would I describe it? They just look a lot more delicate and lacy. That's probably the best way that's why we call them lace leaves. But anyways, so we've hit it, I think we've hit it all. We've talked about color, texture, shapes. We've talked about the leaf sizes and overall plant sizes. Guys, there are dozens and dozens of different varieties of Japanese maple lace leaves or dissectums. And so don't ever think it's only about the one. You've got greens, pinks, orange, yellows, reds, purples, and on and on and on. And like I always say, for every space in your garden, there's a Japanese maple for it, and lace leaves are no exception. If you like this, hit the like button, subscribe so you can catch all the next videos and watch all the other videos. And as always, simplyjapanesemaples.ca. Lots of trees still left for this season, guys. Look us up. And if you have a Canadian shipping address, we would love to send you a beautiful tree or trees. Until next time.